The army of the Kingdom of Macedonia was among the greatest military forces of the ancient world. It was created and made formidable by King Philip II of Macedon. Previously, the army of Macedon had been of little account in the politics of the Greek world, and Macedonia had been regarded as a second-rate power. The latest innovations in weapons and tactics were adopted and refined by Philip II, and he created a uniquely flexible and effective army. By introducing military service as a full-time occupation, Philip was able to drill his men regularly, ensuring unity and cohesion in his ranks. In a remarkably short time, this led to the creation of one of the finest military machines of the ancient world. Tactical improvements included the latest developments in the deployment of the traditional Greek phalanx made by men such as Epaminondas of Thebes and Iphicrates of Athens. Philip II improved on these military innovators by using both Epaminondas' deeper phalanx and Iphicrates' combination of a longer spear and smaller, and lighter shield. However, the Macedonian king also innovated. He introduced the use of a much longer spear, the two-handed pike. The Macedonian pike, the sarissa, gave its wielder many advantages both offensively and defensively. For the first time in Greek warfare, cavalry became a decisive arm in battle. The Macedonian army perfected the coordination of different troop types, an early example of combined arms tactics. The heavy infantry phalanx, skirmish infantry, archers, light and heavy cavalry, and siege engines were all deployed in battle, each troop type being used to its own particular advantage and creating a synergy of mutual support. The new Macedonian army was an amalgamation of different forces, Macedonians and other Greeks, and a wide range of mercenaries from across the Aegean and Balkans were employed by Philip. By 338 BC, more than half of the army for his planned invasion of Persia came from outside the borders of Macedon, from all over the Greek world and the nearby barbarian tribes. Unfortunately, most of the primary historical sources for this period have been lost. As a consequence, scholarship is largely reliant on the writings of Diodorus Siculus and Arrian, both of whom lived centuries later than the events they describe. Origins. If Philip II had not been the father of Alexander the Great, he would be more widely known as a first-rate military innovator, tactician and strategist, and as a consummate politician. The conquest of Alexander would have been impossible without the army his father created. Considered semi-barbarous by the metropolitan Greeks, the Macedonians were a martial people. They drank deeply of unwatered wine, and no youth was considered to be fit to sit with the men at table until he had killed, on foot with a spear, a wild boar. When Philip took over control of Macedon, it was a backward state on the fringes of the Greek world and was beset by its traditional enemies, Illyrians, Paeonians and Thracians. Recent history also furnished a number of instances of military intervention in Macedon by a number of Greek states, including Thebes and Athens. Macedon itself was not unified. It consisted of the heartland inhabited by the Macedonians proper, and many highland baronies peopled by tribesmen ruled by semi-Hellenized chieftains, who recognized the power of the king only when it was in their interest. Previous kings of Macedon had raised armies including good quality cavalry, a small number of hoplite infantry and fairly numerous light infantry. However, these forces were not rigorously trained or organized and were only just capable of keeping Macedon intact, the kingdom often being raided or invaded by the surrounding barbarian peoples. Philip's first achievement was to unify Macedon through his army. He raised troops and made his army the single fount of wealth, honor and power in the land. The unruly chieftains of Macedonia became the officers and elite cavalrymen of the army. The highland peasants became the foot soldiers. Philip took pains to keep them always under arms and either fighting or drilling. Maneuvers and drills were made into competitive events, and the truculent Macedonians vied with each other to excel. As a political counterbalance to the native-born Macedonian nobility, Philip invited military families from throughout Greece to settle on lands he had conquered or confiscated from his enemies. These personal clients then also served as army officers or in the companion cavalry. After taking control of the gold-rich mines of Mount Pangaeus, and the city of Amphipolis that dominated the region, he obtained the wealth to support a large army. Moreover, it was a professional army imbued with a national spirit. By the time of his death, Philip's army had pushed the Macedonian frontier into southern Illyria, conquered the Paeonians and Thracians, asserted a hegemony over Thessaly, destroyed the power of Phasis and defeated and humbled Athens and Thebes. All the states of Greece, with the exception of Sparta, Epirus and Crete, had become subservient allies of Macedon, and Philip was laying the foundations of an invasion of the Persian Empire, an invasion that his son would successfully undertake. One important military innovation of Philip II is often overlooked. He banned the use of wheeled transport and limited the number of camp servants to 1 to every 10 infantrymen and 1 each for the cavalry. This reform made the baggage train of the army very small for its size and improved its speed of march.